Doing thousands of tasks at the same time, constantly being interrupted, unclear priorities. If that sounds familiar to you, then watch this video to see how to use Kanban boards and Scrum boards to master this mess, both on your desks as well as in the complete team. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Business Surgery, the channel here on YouTube, which is all about high speed and disruption in medical technology. Today, we deal with Kanban boards and Scrum boards and with the question how to use them in a meaningful way in medical technology to perform individual tasks step by step for the higher possible customer benefit in the shortest amount of time. Let's start with some kind of board for which there is actually not even a name given, but maybe it takes place in your company anyway. These are simple to-do boards. There are many tasks which run in parallel and uncontrolled throughout the whole company. Each employee has its own order and priority, so it looks like that in the end there is not foreseeable if and where a real customer benefit will arise. Kanban boards now can help. By putting a certain order into these tasks. Because a separation takes place between the prioritization and the implementation of each task. So there's a first column here with the tasks that should be carried out, and it's called the to-do column. In this column, all the individual tasks will be assembled in the beginning. The next column is the so-called in progress column. In this column, you will find all the tasks currently being worked on. Now we come to the first important rule for Kanban boards, the so-called pull principle. The pull principle states that the tasks will not be pushed into the group of developers, as it may have been done in the past, but instead, the individual developer will grab new tasks independently from the to-do list. A second rule is the so-called VIP limitation. VIP or VIP is an abbreviation for work in progress or work in process. The rule states that the number of tasks which are currently executed simultaneously will be hard and exactly limited to a specific number which is defined upfront. This is typically done by a marker above the corresponding column on the board. As an example, a 2 above the column in progress states that the maximum number of 2 tasks may be edited simultaneously. A developer may now start one of the tasks from the to-do column and put it independently into the in progress column. And as long as he or she is able to focus 100% on the specific tasks, he will not start any other task from the to-do board. Of course, sometimes it happens that some coordination issues will arise, or that the predecessor of the task has to be prepared from outside the group, and therefore some explicit waiting time will come into existence. In this specific case, an additional task may be pulled, but it should be the exception. If there is still additional waiting time, then, however, stick to the rule of the limited work in progress. If you are not able to finish one of the 2 tasks, for instance because you have to wait for an external supplier who is not able to deliver, then this is your main task now, to identify and solve this special issue which blocks you and the other members of the team. Before this is not done, it's not worth starting a new task because there are no developers and no focus left to work on this additional task. There's still a third column, the column Done. This column exists for the finished tasks. So if you finish a task, drag it from In Progress to Done. You already can see that tasks may overtake each other. That's not bad at all when working with a Kanban board. It is also possible that, let's say, a new task is pulled from To Do into In Progress, and another already started one will be completed, and afterwards the first task will also be finished and moved from In Progress into Done. So one task after the other moves from left to right through the whole Kanban board. What emerges from that is the so-called one-piece flow. The goal is that, ideally, only one task after the other will move through the Kanban board without interruption. The Kanban board, in the form we have been using it so far, is suitable for individuals to create a good foundation, to structure their tasks and to focus on these. Kanban boards are also able to connect and synchronize several members of a team with each other. For this we can, for example, split the column In Progress into two subcolumns, Development and Test. For each of these columns, we then align a defined VIP. In our case, let's restrict it to 2 tasks per column. Once the one-piece flow is realized, it is all about the question how to generate a real value. To maximize this value, we implement another rule, first things first. The most important task should be done at the first one.